Hello YouTube, it is Road to Recovery, and today I'm going to be talking about why I feel it's not necessary to use blocking or monitoring software during your porn addiction recovery. Certainly, there's a lot of blocking software packages that are out there, and they all have a very similar purpose. They're trying to monitor your use on a device to make sure that you're not accessing pornography, and some of them also go a step further and report to a second party what you were in fact looking at and if you were trying to look at anything that might be considered pornographic. Certainly, I believe that in a recovery program, that accountability is prominent. It is something that you should be leaning on, accountability to others in terms of your own personal recovery journey. The purpose for doing that is to make sure that another person is being able to interact with you in a recovery space, and that accountability, in my opinion, should apply to all the things you're doing in your program, which means are you working on yourself? Are you setting goals? Are you doing the things that you said that you would set out to do, including staying off the pornography? So it's a very inclusive dynamic when I say that you want to have accountability. However, and again, this is my personal opinion, I'd like to just break down for a moment what a blocking software package does and why I think it actually does not contribute to recovery as some think it does. So, the idea behind the package is that if you know that either sites are being blocked or that if you make any attempt at doing something, that a third party will be told that perhaps the either the shame, the guilt, the remorse, all of these things that might happen, all these feelings that you might feel as a consequence of your action will be enough that you do not do that, right? And so let's break it down a little further. What we're trying to say by use of specific blocking software packages like that is that the consequences of shame will be enough to deter your actions, right? That's essentially what that is. I've said it many times um, on my YouTube platform and on Twitter as well, and I'll say it one more time. Shame is not a good motivational tactic. Never has been, never will be. The idea, and I can carry this over to criminal justice as well. We know that the shame of sticking somebody in prison doesn't stop a criminal from creating or doing the crime. It just doesn't. Prisons are filled with people who have committed crimes, knowing ahead of time the consequences of what their actions might be, yet they still do it anyway. Now let's just replace criminal with addict, right? Being an addict and having the consequence of shame there in its place does not stop the addiction. Doesn't stop the addiction. You know what does stop the addiction? You being able to exercise restraint. And that restraint, for some people, it may come from a realization that, hey, you know what, this is not good for me. But more importantly, that restraint comes from exercise. In other words, there's going to be times in which temptation strikes, and the real pedal to the metal is going to happen when you, the addict, has to be able to take action against your cravings. And whatever those actions might be, whether you're using some sort of cognitive behavior therapy, whether you're calling a sponsor, whether you've actually got a sequence of steps you've written down in your recovery plan, whatever that action is, it's you exercising those steps. That's the meaningful part of your recovery. That's when you actually get to do the thing you say you're going to do. Do you give yourself the opportunity at being able to exercise that plan if you're always hiding behind a software package? Hell, for half of you, you got in trouble because of a software package. And now you're trying to lean on a software package to help you out. And to that I say, stop relying on others for your own personal recovery journey. Don't even think of it as a tool. Think of it as you have to do the deep digging. You have to build the recovery plan, and you have to exercise your mind, your willpower, your resistance when cravings kick in, when triggering happens. You have to do all of those things. Now, I'm not going to fault anyone for electing to go ahead and use one of those software packages. I get it, especially early on, that some people just feel that they cannot be trusted. Well, there comes a time and space where you're going to have to let yourself get exposed. And I'm not saying go seeking pornography, but I'm saying allowing those triggers that are in your environment, that's in everyone's environment, whether it's on TV, whether somebody sends you an email or an errant text, you have to give yourself the opportunity to actually exercise your recovery plan, to do the things you said that you were going to do, and stop relying on other things, tools, and what have you to keep it away. Because you know what? You can live happily on that island for a long time, but eventually, Mr. Robinson Crusoe, you're going to encounter others. You've got to be able to exercise in a real world environment resistance, restraint, your recovery plan options. All of those things have to happen. And I know there's going to be some people out there that are going to make all kinds of justifications about why they needed to have that software program. Brother, I have got on my cell phone, I, I've said it in other videos and I'll say it here. I just put it on the highest form of blocking I possibly can, just on the actual browser itself. Also happens on my computer as well, in case I, accidentally come across things while I'm looking on the internet for my ordinary things, whether it's shopping or looking at news articles. And for, I'd say, like 99% of the time, browser does actually a really good job. It stops from pornography from coming out. On top of that, now Google is actually doing blur images for pornographic content. So you've got that added luxury, right? But again, I get back to why would you pay for a service like that when you should be doing it? All the things you're asking that software to do, you should be doing. You shouldn't be out looking for porn. If you hit a triggering image, which is eventually going to happen anyway, if you hit a triggering image, well, you should be taking action on that, not relying on a software package to tell you what to do or to stop you from taking a next step. You should be doing that. The whole point of recovery is what you should be doing. That's all I've really got to say about that today. I hope you found this information useful. If you have questions or you just like to comment, leave comments below. I'd like you to like, share, and subscribe. It helps elevate this content. Everything I do on this channel, it's free. I don't monetize any bit of this. This is all about helping others. Thank you for listening. Take care.